Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Happy for everyone coming in. Peace and blessings to you all. Let me get this right here together. What did I push? Okay. Peace and blessings. V, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for coming through. Look, we have a very important topic. Oh yeah, I have some effects. I didn't even mean to push it. I didn't know when I was going to use effects or anything, but I did get some effects together. But we have a very important topic to talk about. I mean, I know that I spoke about certain topics within the discussion about Miss Felicia and Chief Cali having conversation on her panel. And then, the situation was brought to the light. So I'm gonna play an audio and uh I didn't want to play, I never wanted to play the full video because Miss Felicia was giving her story, and her story is her story to give. So I felt like that would have been overstepping my boundaries. So I never wanted to play that video. But we do have a clip it. So based upon that clip it, you guys, I will try to describe everything to the best of my ability of what went about for the conversation. Okay, but today, you guys, we're gonna hear Chief Cali speaking on the topic of a domestic dispute between him and his ex. They have children together and things in that sort, and they had a dispute, and he spoke about it, and we're gonna see what he says. Um, I think I'll go ahead and just get ready to dig in. What y'all think? Y'all ready to dig in? Okay.
I'm abusing my wife. I may not abuse her with my hands or physically, but I may abuse her by, I know she hates when I say this. I talk about her weight or something. Yes. I knock her down, I tear her down, but I know the words. I know the words to say from my mouth that's gonna hit her as hard as my fist would.
That's gonna hit her as hard as my fist would.
Now, this was a conversation that he had on Miss Felicia's panel, and the question was, it was questions of basically what are things that abusive men would say and things like that, and he gave an example that seems very relative to a situation. But not only that, it's very relative to the treatment that he's given me, which is very not shocking, but very telling. You get what I'm saying? um let's just play it back a little bit.
I'm abusing my wife. I may not abuse her with my hands or physically, but I may abuse her by, I know she hates when I say this. I talk about her weight or something.
Yes. So basically, you find something that is a sensitive subject for someone, and you use that against them. Now, here's the thing: he states that he loves big girls, but you use their weight to hurt their feelings.
I knock her down, I tear her down, but I know the words. I know the words to say from my mouth that's gonna hit her as hard as my fist would.
That's gonna hit her as hard as my fist would.
You feel what I'm saying? That's abuse. That's abuse. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That is abuse. Ashley, what's up, Queen? Now, see, I don't want anybody to get confused because in the interview, Felicia was asking him examples, and he gave examples of what abuse is. So that's what he's stating. But mind you, Terry, thank you for coming through, bro. But mind you, these are also like the behaviors that he portrays online to women as well. Saying things to hurt them. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I've been saying all along as well. Like, saying disrespectful things, calling women out of their names, making nicknames, things in that sort, that is abuse. That is abuse. So it's apparent that he knows what abuse is.
Having money, controlling someone in a relationship money wise,
Yes.
it definitely can be abuse. And believe it or not, y'all, gosh, y'all will not believe this, but some of these things you can actually call the police on. I promise you. I promise you.
All right, I need y'all to pay close attention here. He just explained emotional, verbal, mental, and financial abuse. But then he goes in to say how he knows you can call the police for some of these things. But his example is actually physical abuse. How did that happen? How are you giving us examples of abuse that wasn't physical, then saying you can actually even call the police for some of these things, and then give us an example of a time where it's clearly physical abuse? Watch.
And I'm telling y'all this because I know this for a fact. I had a situation with my boy's mother. With my boy's mother, my ex-wife. I had a situation with her where she attacked me. Okay, she attacked me one night. My daughter so happened to call the 911. My daughter was by the window when all of this happened, and I told my daughter to call 911. Now it got to a point where I had no other choice but to defend myself because, listen, my ex-wife, she's from Cleveland. She's a Cleveland city girl. She's a big girl, and she can fight. She's raised by.
Now he says.
Now, and I want to interject because he just acknowledged examples of what verbal abuse would be as pertaining to his girlfriend and even his ex, because he dates bigger women. He says that it's his attraction, and they're very attractive women, by the way. They're very beautiful ladies. He states that what he would say to hurt them, and now he is stating that that is the very reasoning as to why he felt it was okay to defend himself in a manner as such as he did, right? Which is manipulation and abusive.
Is that like she was raised by wolves or something, right? Well, let's explore that. What do you mean she was raised by uncles? What are you saying? Since a young age, these uncles been training her to be some type of prize fighter? They've been putting her through rigorous training, having her hit the mitts, having her hit the bags, having her work on her jabs, uppercuts, hooks, right? That's what you're saying? And so somehow, based on the way these uncles raised her, now it makes her qualified to be fought like a man. Okay. Then you say, she's a big girl. I thought you liked big girls. So let me get this straight. You would get with a big girl because you like them. Then you'll make them feel bad about themselves by talking about their weight, which is definitely emotional and mental abuse, verbal abuse, breaking them down. And then if they fight back, because they are big, you get to beat them up, right? That's how that works. You get to fight them like a man because they're big. But did they attack you because you was attacking them? Why did she hit you? How did this situation begin?
And that's a good question. Most of the time you want to ask these questions. Well, what led up to the situation? You know, what was the necessity for, you know, telling the children to call the police? What made her feel the need to try to choke? Or, you know, it's evident that the relationship was toxic. But you know, some questions, you know, of what happened beforehand can give us a lot of answers that we didn't have. You know, it starts at the point where he was actually being attacked, right? So based upon his story, he gives it in a way that he's the victim, which could also be manipulation, unless he actually was the victim, right? But we don't know that because we don't know the beginning of the story, and we just have his side. I don't think that his ex would come out and tell her side, and I think that, you know, everybody can respect that. But honestly and truthfully, you know, it's easy to paint yourself as the victim if you're telling the story. You get what I'm saying? Which can also be a form of manipulation.
Now, I could pause this video over and over and have a million things to say about what he's about to say, but I'm not. I'm going to let him talk, and I'm going to let you guys listen and think for yourself. All right? Now, he's going to try to explain away physical abuse. I want you guys to hear this for yourselves, and we'll come back to it.
You feel what I'm saying? So there was a moment where my bandana had fell over my neck. As you know, as I'm trying to hold her off, my bandana fell from my forehead to my neck, and she got a hold to my bandana and started twisting that bandana. And I could feel.
Now, see, this is the thing. It started off, you know, he's the victim, right? And it started off saying there was a moment where she was grabbing hold to the bandana. So that means that you guys could probably already be tussling. That means that you guys were already enraged towards each other. You were already going towards each other. There was a moment. It didn't say out of nowhere. It didn't say that she automatically jumped towards me. You didn't say any of these things. You said that there was a moment within this situation where she was aiming for your bandana on your neck. And that means that you guys were already in a domestic violence situation.
My breath, being cut, so I had to do what I had to do to get that woman off of me. Now, I was arrested. For this. You feel what I'm saying? Because
why do you think it was arrested? Okay, so
I was arrested because of the way she looked when they got there.
Okay, so
I was arrested because of the way she looked when they got there.
Okay, so let's stop there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you say about it because the way she looked when she got there, she wasn't looking a certain way before they got there, right?
Right.
So that means you had to make her look a certain way before she got there.
Right.
So that means you had to make her look a certain.
And notice when Miss Felicia asked him that question, he agreed. Because remember, he said, I did what I had to do to get her off of me. So watch him continue the story, because you did more than get her off of you. And you just agreed to that very thing. You get what I'm saying? Because now she doesn't look normal anymore. And that's what caused the police to determine that you abused her.
Way before she get there. So that means you had to make her look a certain way before she get there.
Yes.
Safe to say.
Yes. But so, even though my daughter called the police,
but there's a but. And to say, well, my daughter called the police because I told her to. You see how manipulation works? Because I said to call the police. Nothing that I did in this situation was wrong whatsoever. That is manipulation. That is abuse. And if we are abusive, it's easy to take accountability and say, you know, we were in a very toxic relationship and I was completely wrong for doing what I had done to her. But you don't hear that. You hear excuses. And that means that he's not sorry for what he did whatsoever.
My daughter is this is how things worked out in my favor. My daughter called the police. The operator could hear my daughter saying, she's fighting my daddy. She won't stop. She's fighting my. So this is all recorded on the recording.
So now the recording works in your favor. So now you have more justification as to what you did to your ex, as far as physically abusing her and making her face look different. You hear the manipulation?
That was my daughter that called 911 as she was attacking me. Now, like I say, if y'all remember.
Now, remember, he said there was a moment when she grabbed the bandana around my neck. You didn't say that she jumped on you. You didn't say that she came out of nowhere or came from behind. You said that there was a moment. So that means you guys were already in rage. You get what I'm saying? So it leads me to wonder, were you guys already in attack mode towards each other? Were you attacking her and that was the reason for her to feel as if she needed to grab your bandana? We don't know these questions. And not to add anything worse to the situation, right? Because it's already bad. But these are questions that are in the air now. You get what I'm saying? Because everything he's stating is from a biased statement. It's a way to sway and make people feel him as the victim. And that's not fair to her. And that's not fair to the story.
My baby mama my ex-wife, she kind of favors Monique. Like, she kind of favors Monique. But she's the comedian. Okay. When I say this girl can fight, and she, you know what I'm saying? Now I had
so is this is Cali excusing his part, or because we just said what she did, or okay. What about Cali? What Cali do once again?
Great question, because right there he's trying to paint a perspective or a perception, which is a form of manipulation, to give an excuse as to why he went hard as he did physically on his ex. Because she's a big woman, because she can fight, because she's from Cleveland, because she was raised around men, because of all of these things, it's justifiable as to why I attacked her as if she was a man. And that's not fair. That is abuse. That is manipulation.
Or for me to be physically hit?
Yeah, for you to be physically arrested.
Nothing. Well,
exactly, no. Sister Felicia. Sister Felicia said for you to be physically abusive. The reason for him being hit, let's say if his ex did hit him first, that was not right. That was wrong. But we don't know that in this situation. You get what I'm saying? Because it was from one point of view. And not only that, he admittedly said that there was a moment. He didn't say how it started. He didn't say the reason behind it. And these questions are important, especially with situations like this, right? So that we can get the full understanding of what went on. But now he's stating the justification as to why he retaliated in such a harsh manner.
Okay, so Cali, yeah, we're gonna say I blacked out.
Around. What happened? I want to know how the hell you end up in handcuffs?
Yeah, because she caught the bad end of that.
No, why she caught the bad end of it? Why she caught the bad end of it?
Because I felt like I was about to pass out. So basically, what I'm saying is I blacked out and I gave it to her. I gave you got to remember, I'm telling y'all, this is not no little girl we talking about. This is a city girl.
Is she still a woman? Is she still a woman, Cali?
Still a woman. She's still a woman.
Right?
Let me tell you this.
And at the end of the day, a man is more powerful than a woman in all instances.
And at the end of the day, a man is more powerful than a woman in all instances.
Yeah, but I totally get it. I didn't attack her. I didn't attack her. And when I say this woman fights like a dude, okay, and my bandana
there's no full accountability at all, and said that she fights like a dude. Here's the thing, man, and this is wisdom. If you cannot date or handle anything in even with financial status, if you feel less superior to a woman because of her financial status or anything, then you should not feel a form of attraction towards them. That means that in this situation, to me, Cheif Cali does not date based upon his attraction. He dates based upon his form of manipulation, so that he can give an explanation or an excuse as to why his abuse to his women are okay. It doesn't matter what size a woman is. It doesn't matter where they are from. It doesn't matter how they are raised. They should never be mistreated in that lighting. And to say that you blacked out states that you lost control and you don't have any type of discipline. You cannot hold yourself back. It was your pride and your ego, and to where you felt like you wanted to prove you were the man in the situation, and you abused her.
Was over my neck.
So are you saying that because she fought you like a dude, that you didn't become the dude you are?
What do you mean, the dude that I am?
Because you fought, because her treated you like a dude, you treated her like a dude.
Well, I got her off of me.
Facts. Miss Felicia said because she treated you like a dude, you treated her like a dude. You hear that? That was abuse. Thank you, Miss Felicia, because Miss Felicia knew exactly what he was trying to do. You get what I'm saying in this moment? You can't justify what you did to a woman. She treated you like a man, and you treated her like a man, and she's a woman. And she's very beautiful, you guys. She's right here. Very beautiful lady.
Yeah, I was saying, listen, Felicia. Let me tell you this. I have no history of hitting on a woman.
So y'all hear that, right? He has no history of hitting women. That's what he says, meaning this has never happened before. So this is the first instance, right? Okay, a couple of days later, he made this video. Listen.
And one thing about that, when you make one lie, you have to make up another lie to cover the first lie. And that's why you should never lie in the first place. And in that moment, you can sense that he felt intimidation as far as, not having a lack of accountability. So his statement to save him was, I've never done it before.
Yeah. So I Felicia, when we had that, I got a chance to come on her panel, and I got a chance to listen to those women talk, and I got a chance to tell my story. I got a chance to tell my story of where I was attacked. You feel what I'm saying? And I had to get out of that situation. There's been a couple of times I've been attacked, and I hate to say it, but they caught the bad end of my wrath.
You hear that? The bad end of his wrath. And not only that, but there was a couple of times. So it's not, I've never done it before, or I've never been through it before. It's been done a couple of times, and which is a pattern behavior, which we've seen on the internet, pattern behaviors. I've been called names, multiple different names, numerous of times. Videos of him calling me out numerous of times. Videos of him discussing Lacey numerous of times. So you have a pattern, which makes you abusive. And then to say that you have a wrath. So you're admitting to being abusive.
But they caught the bad end of it both times.
Both times.
So now let's hear him lie again.
I have no history of hitting on a woman.
I get it.
I wasn't raised that way.
Only. I'm talking about only this instant. I'm
Right.
talking about this instant right here.
So I had to do what I had to do to get that woman off of me. And yeah, I gave it to her. I mean, I'm getting choked out. I'm being choked. But also it's being recorded on the 911 that I told my daughter to call because I was being attacked. I got attacked. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you this, even before that was the only thing that took me to the point of striking her, because I did everything before that. Like, I'm holding her off. So when I said my daughter, when I said my daughter told the 911, she's fighting my daddy. She keeps fighting my daddy, right? I was holding her off by her throat at that point in time. Like, I have her like backed off of me.
Okay, so at that time, you were holding her off, but in your mindset, it's in my favor because it's being recorded that my daughter is stating that I'm being attacked. And notice how in that moment, you're stating that she choked you. But when you have your hands around her neck, you're holding her off. See how unfair that sounds?
Okay, so Cali, pause for 1 minute. So let me just kind of try to explain there, Felicia. From what I'm gathering for him, she was trying. If he blacked out, it's because she was probably choking you with
the bandana,
right? So when it comes to abuse,
everybody knows what a blackout is. To black out means that you lost control of self. That means that you lashed out uncontrollably. You didn't think about anything. Blacking out and passing out are two different things. He did not pass out. He blacked out. And that means that there, and he said that he was holding her off. So that means that there was a moment where she was no longer on you. So you were able to remove yourself from the situation. And instead of doing that, while you were holding her off, while the police was being informed that you were being attacked, you had the opportunity to black out and beat her until she was unrecognizable when the police arrived.
Abuse, they say we either go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or disassociation. He went into fight mode when she was doing what she was doing to her, doing to him is what happened.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and it's no, I mean, listen, y'all, some people may not agree with that. Listen, some of y'all women can fight.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's people in the comments. I don't even know. Hey, Cali, I don't even know if you read the comments. They on your side. They was they was like she was choking them. No, they on your side.
Yeah, and listen.
And I think that the only reason why they may have felt that way is because the statement was missed, where he said that he was holding her off by her neck. That means that she was no longer choking him. Think about it. He is a man, and Cali is not a little man himself. We're talking about a tall, full-figured man. So his arm reach is clearly longer than hers. No matter how tall she is, no matter how big she is, your arm reach is longer. So if you have her by the neck, I can envision that her strength of hold on you was loosened, because you said that I was holding her off. So that means she's no longer choking you, but you're choking her. And you had an opportunity to leave the situation, but instead you blacked out and attacked her. And that was the part that was missed. See, this is why it's important for us to listen with logic and not with emotions.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, so
it kind of gives me the vibe of it was a fast thinking, planned process, because his whole thought was, you know, because of his own anger and frustration, his whole thought was, okay, so the police feel like I'm the victim here because they have been called and because my daughter was recorded stating that I was being attacked. Now I have the opportunity to attack her. And that's exactly what happened. So when they get here, I can say, well, she was attacking me. She was doing it to me. I couldn't breathe. But you admitted that you was holding her off, which means that she was no longer choking you. You started choking her.
Arrested because it was the female. She was the female, okay?
Yes.
And I'm telling her that she attacked me. But to make a long story short, it worked out in my favor. Because
but that's crazy to me, Cali, though, because police officers these days are supposed to be trained when they come out to a situation like that to determine who the primary aggressor was.
Yeah, well,
in that case, she would have been the primary aggressor.
He would have been if they believed her.
Now, we all know when the police arrives, they're going to get the story from the beginning to the end. And not only that, but they got both sides of the story. They got his story and they have his ex's story. So him being the one placed into jail with handcuffs was not only because the disfiguring of her face, but also because of the story in full details that we didn't necessarily get. We only have his side, right?
That if she would have been, but they believed her that I attacked her. Okay, so when we're talking to the police officers on the scene,
now I want everybody to notice he said that they believed her. But here's the thing of admittance, where he literally admitted that he held her off by her neck and then he blacked out. Remember, he said, he said, mind you, my daughter was on the recording telling the police that I was being attacked, and I held her off by her neck, and then I blacked out. So that means then you lashed out on her. So they didn't just believe that you attacked her; they knew that you attacked her, and you knew you attacked her.
The way she looked, the way she looked,
the way she looked, the way she looked,
and I'm a man, she's a woman. She's saying I hit her. I'm telling him she attacked me. I'm the one that called 911. I got took to jail. But we had to go to court. And we had to go for custody battle. Listen, it is hard for a man to get custody of his kids and full custody at that.
Now I remember watching a video where he stated that he was called to come pick his children up because his ex had aborted her obligations as a parent and did not want anything to do with them. So that to me, is clear evidence of toxicity, but not only that, he's lying. He didn't fight for custody for his children. It was easily given to him. He even stated that because he stated, I was afraid. I didn't know what I was going to do. You get what I'm saying? I had to raise them by myself, and I don't know what I was going to do. I was scared. You get what I'm saying? That was his testimony before this situation right here. And I know he took a lot of his videos down. So it's no telling when we'll be able to hear that video again. But truth be told, I saw that video myself. And no, he did not fight for custody for his children. That is another lie.
I will say that is 100% fact, because
that is one we already know.
You have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that woman is an unfit parent in order to take custody.
Exactly.
Here's the picture. It says, a deadbeat mom wanted in Ohio, and they placed her name, and I'm so sorry for that. Hasn't paid child support since 2011, has abandoned 2 handsome young men. She she left her obligation. I don't think that it was ever a fight.
The whole incident that happened that night. Now, this only happened one time in my life. Okay, only one time, nothing before this, nothing after this. Okay, trying to hold her off. I was trying to do everything to not hit her. But when my bandana fell over my neck and she started twisting.
Now, see, that's two different stories. He said that he was trying not to fight her, but when the bandana fell on his onto his neck, you know, he's trying to give it a reason as to why he did. But just a few moments ago, we heard that he had already gotten her off of him by holding on to her neck. Remember?
You ain't funny, y'all.
You know, she's right. I went into fight mode.
Now I want you to.
Then he just stated, I went into fight mode. That's an admittance of abuse.
Imagine the scene. They're in some type of quarrel here, some type of tussle. He has his arm fully extended, hand around her neck, and he calls that holding her off. But his hand is around her neck. Isn't that choking her? So you could imagine her trying to swing at him, scuffle with him, to the point where his bandana falls down around his neck. So now, her arms being shorter than his, the bandana is her leverage. She reaches and she grabs for the bandana. So she starts pulling at his bandana. Now, all of a sudden, what does he do when he feels he's being choked? It starts punching.
I want to say greetings to everyone, you guys. I got so invested in the story and I'm missing the chat. Let me scroll up. We got Freddie Miller in the building. Break room. Shout out to you, Queen. We got Nola in here. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone coming through. Yes, you guys. It's a very, very serious situation, you guys. And I know that it's hard to get a full story sometimes, you know, especially when you get one side, right? It's always three sides to the story. It's his side, her side, and then there's the truth, right? But there's inconsistencies. And I've been highlighting a lot of inconsistencies in Chief Cali's statements for a while now. Chatty Kathy, shout out to you, Queen, for coming through. And it leads you to have more questions. Certain questions I would ask is, you know, well, what led to the situation? What was the conversation like? What was the mood about? You know, have you guys ever even argued before? You know, when she grabbed your bandana around your neck, how, first and foremost, how did the bandana even fall towards your neck? Were you guys already in a tussle? And when she grabbed it around your neck, was it out of nowhere? Were you facing towards each other, or was it behind? Were you completely off guard and unaware that you needed to protect yourself? If that was the case, that means it was possibly no argument at all. And not only that, but you know, when you had your hand around her neck and you were able to hold her off, that means that you were holding pressure against her, right? And clearly, evidently, that had to be choking, because, you know, she apparently had to loosen up off of you for you to be holding her off of you, and in that manner. And then saying, well, I blacked out. So that means after you were choking her, you started to hit her. You know, it's so many inconsistencies within this story. I don't know why he would feel as if this would have played in his favor in any kind of way. And there's not a moment of accountability for his wrongdoings. Even if you guys were in a toxic relationship or whatever the case may be, you know, it takes two. So not one time in that conversation did he say anything about, you know, the fault or the accountability of his own actions within that situation. but it was painted as if everything that she did was wrong, and the reasoning why he couldn't control himself. We never want to be adults and place the blame of our own actions on what someone else is doing. You should be in control of yourself. You should be in control of your actions. You should be in control of your awareness and, your behavior. And the moment that it becomes somebody else's fault and not yours is the moment that you're not being accountable of self.
Starts fighting. And he's trying to say that she was choking him. Sounds like you were choking her first, because you just said it earlier.
This is not a little body that you're trying to.
Now, mind you,
she's bigger than me, is what I'm telling y'all. She's a big girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know me, I'm slim. Like, I'm a slim dude.
Everyone, this woman right here does not look harsh or mannish or anything at all. She was not undeserving of being treated as a man. It's evident. You get what I'm saying? She's a very beautiful girl. And when we're young and we don't know any better, we get into toxic relationships. We have toxic relationships. Not to say that anybody is perfect, but in this situation, from what we're hearing right now, it's quite evident that Cheif Cali is having a hard time in understanding how he was not perfect in this situation, and how he's not holding himself accountable for his behaviors in this situation. And it's very evident that he physically assaulted his ex-girlfriend.
Dude, always been slim all my life. This woman is bigger than me, and she's a Cleveland.
He's stating that he's been slim and she's bigger than him. So what was the interest in dating her if you were only going to use that as an excuse as to why it's okay for you to put your hands on her? Maybe you should date maybe you should date to where you don't have that excuse anymore, because that's not a good enough excuse. Women come in all shapes and sizes, and there's no discrimination to their size. It's not fair for you to have an excuse for why you would put your hands on her because she's bigger than another woman. All women are women. That's not only did you give physical abuse, but you're showing that you give mental abuse as well. So now you're going to place self-esteem issues on women and justifying saying that, well, because I'm bigger, I should be accepted of men possibly harming me as if I am a man. And that's not okay.
Girl. She's a city girl. You feel what I'm saying?
City girls are what? Okay, Cali.
She's not gonna play with you. She's not. I'm not saying that, country
so
girl.
Because she's from the city as well, it's okay for you to attack her in the manner that you did, because she's a bigger woman, because she's taller, because of where the environment of where she was raised, because of her social status, of how she was raised. All of these are excuses as to why what you did to her was okay.
Girls ain't either. But I'm just saying, I'm telling you what I know she was raised from. Her uncles are gangsters, and she was raised from that.
I want you to hear the abuse, because you guys were dating, you got to know her, and with that, all the information of getting to know her in a moment where you physically assaulted her, you used all of that as a weapon against her to justify your lack of accountability, your abusive behavior, your manipulation.
You get what I'm saying?
So Cali. So okay, so we got it. We get it that We understand you, right? You ain't putting your hands on no women. You don't believe in none of that.
Right.
Why do you think, though, that men hit women, and why do you think women protect the men that does it? And no. Not so much that. First of all, why do men hit women? Why do they think it's okay? And why do you think women go along with it?
Now, honestly, this should be an epiphany moment. Why do you think men hit women? Why do you think the women stay? Well, Cali just explained it, didn't he? You give them a set of rules that justifies you hitting them. You break down their emotional and mental faculty to where they don't believe nobody else will want them. So they're protecting you because they believe in your rules. So they'll adopt them and say, well, I did hit him first. I did talk back to him. I did have a tone. I do overeat. I do need to lose weight because they're playing by his rules. You understand? Again, they don't leave because you've mentally broken them down. And they protect him because they believe in the template that he has set, that is the rules. I hit you because you did this. You a big girl. You were tough. You was raised by your uncle. So you understand? But they're all aloof here as to how this happens, right? Number one, they let this man escape and say, we get it, Cali. You don't hit women and you never would. No, he does hit women. She said, you don't believe in it. Well, he does believe in it. He just has his own justifications for when it's okay. See how that works? And the way he answers this question is very revealing. He said for domination and control. So notice he says his daughter called the police. Notice he said that he was holding her off. Notice it was escalated up to this point, right? She didn't just start hollering off and hitting him. So it's many moments where he could have just left, right? But no, he'd rather go ahead and assert his dominance and control. This is why he goes into fight mode. Do you understand? Now watch him explain it. He's literally going to tell on himself. Listen.
Why do men hit women? I'm going to say this. It's for different reasons, depending on who you're dealing with. A lot of times it's power and control. That's
the answer right there. Men hit women and are abusers because they want to exert power and control over another individual.
Power and control. Even if I can verbally, that's
why I was finna go, Cali. I was gonna say you don't hit them.
Yeah. Even if just verbally, I can control you, and I know I can control you, but I'm doing it for bad reasons. I'm not doing it to help you. I'm not using my voice or verbal commands and stuff towards you to help you or to make you aware of something. I'm using this strictly to control you and make you fear me in some way, shape, or form. I don't have no record. I don't have no felonies. I don't have no history of abusing women before that incident, and I don't have none now. To those women talk, and I got a chance to tell my story. I got a chance to tell my story of where I was attacked. You feel what I'm saying? And I had to get out of that situation. There's been a couple of times I've been attacked, and I hate to say it, but they caught the bad end of my wrath. But they caught the bad end of it both times.
So now that you guys know you are supporting a woman beater, let's go ahead and add child abuser to that.
And before we get to that part, he stated also in this conversation how, he uses, verbal abuse to intimidate women, which he has done towards me, which he has done towards other content creators. Ashley, I think that, and not only that, but also towards Lacey. State calling us content creators out of our name. I think he had a couple of other instances with other content creators. I won't name these ladies, but these ladies know who they are, because I understand that the situations between that did come to a close, thankfully, and I will keep it that way. But yes, his mannerisms show even on the internet towards women. You get what I'm saying? That are no threat to him whatsoever. So to see that he has this understanding, and he does this also within, his real life, his dating life, it's clearly evident of him being abusive. But now we're going to go into the conversation where he states, oh, Kevin talked about my child, in which he didn't. Kevin never talked about his child. Cali talked about his child, and Kevin told him he was wrong for what he did to his child. So let's hear what that conversation was about.
Listen at this. Rise and shine, family. All right, listen, I need your attention. I need you guys to watch this as this man literally confesses to beating on his son. And he does it with such a joy. Now, his son, his future self, okay? I want to tap into why he did this. So he literally brought up his son as an example to warn another grown man on what happens if you cross him. This goes into him openly admitting to beating on his son. Listen at this, family.
I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, he got all kind of gangs up in here and woo, 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 right? I said, no, I ain't gave him no money, Ma. Where he get money from? She like, I don't know. I said, Ma, go downstairs and look under my computer. Let's see if my money under my computer. Lo and behold, my money gone. Life is full of decisions, right? Now why would you want to fuck with daddy money? That was daddy car money. He had to get his car fixed with that, right? All right, let's move forward in this story. So I had to teach son a lesson, right? So son, he had to man up that day. Boop, 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 boop. He felt the boop, boop, boops and the boop, 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 boops, right? Yeah, stand up, son. Yeah, stand up. You wanna take from me? Take just boop, 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 boop. Take all of that, huh? Take one of these two, right? Now, later on, son done took some boop, boop, boops, some real manly, some real daddy, some real steal from your daddy, some real steal from your daddy for no reason. Boop, boop, boops. He had to deal with them consequences, right? So later on, he goes to sleep, right? He goes to sleep. And I see him in there sleeping. He's sleeping so peacefully after getting all of them boop, boop, boops, right? Because he made a decision to fuck with his daddy, right? He made a decision. That little boy made a decision to fuck with a grown man. And I mean, there was consequences that came with that decision, right? So he's in there just sleeping. Like, he's so peacefully sleeping. Yeah. And I so peacefully go in there and I boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Get your ass up, nigga. Take these boop, boop, boops out of nowhere, nigga. Because what I want to show you, son, is there's consequences with your decisions, right? See, when you go to jail, nigga, when you go to jail from stealing for the next nigga, huh? Yeah, when you close your eyes, you can't fully close your eyes in there, nigga. Yeah, because as soon as you close your eyes, somebody coming in there, just like I just did while you was asleep, nigga, and then busting you over the head with soap, nigga, tearing up your stomach, nigga, fucking you up in that cell, nigga. Yeah, that's how it go down. See, them decisions you made to steal from your daddy, nigga, it'll land you in a place behind bars, nigga. So you might want to, listen to me, get your act together, nigga.
Now, in this statement, and I let it play as a whole. Shout out to King Young Hair Roof for coming through. Shout out to the True Slayer Queen for coming through. Um, See, the thing is, when he made this statement, he gave a justification as to why it was okay to not have emotional discipline, and gave a justification as to why it was okay for him to be physically abusive to his very own child. Now, we all know that as parents, you have forms of discipline, which is not necessarily the problem. The problem becomes when it becomes a highlight of you extending you're extending the thought process or the visual of him being an adult. Boop 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 boop, threatening him and abusing him in a manner as if he was your equal, not in that moment that he was your child. And not only that, I've stated before, when a child does things, as far as stealing and doing things in this manner, it's a psychological effect, which also tells on the parenting skills, because sometimes they do things unknowingly. The conscious thought process of having lack, having not being able to have, or the fear of being told no. And so they act out, or they respond with certain behaviors. you know um I'm not against anyone's form of discipline, but please know the line that will be crossed. If you take it further than just discipline, it turns into abuse, and that is wrong. I got you. Hey, Rue, I got you, bro. And see, to even wake someone out of their sleep through physical assault, that is extreme abuse. I understand it's frustrating. I understand parenting is frustrating. I understand that because I am a parent. But just like when a baby is learning to walk, they have to crawl first. And not only that, they may stumble and fall. You get what I'm saying? You had to be patient when they were learning to walk. You have to be patient when they are learning, when they are growing. This child was not an adult. The child, even though the child may know that stealing is wrong, the deserving of abuse in preparation for prison, it shows the expectations that you have for your own child. The thought process should not be to prepare him if he does it again and go to prison. The thought process should be, let me get to a place of understanding so that he doesn't feel the need to have to do this again to anyone. We have to find a way to effectively communicate, because no one is learning communication or boundaries in this situation if we're only resolving things through physical abuse. You have to communicate so that he can learn how to communicate what he desires, what he needs. You get what I'm saying as well? Because all things could have been resolved if he just knew how to ask or knew how to speak, or you guys could have came together and found a way to make things possible for everyone to be okay in this situation. But because, and it doesn't, when the money was stolen, it doesn't justify him being abused physically.
Y'all see me conveying this message again to this loudmouth barking ass nigga in this community? This ain't gonna take long. This ain't gonna.
Now he's gonna use the example of his child situation that he had with his child. His child didn't place this information on the internet. Cheif Cali placed this information on the internet. And he's going to use this instance that he had with his child in his own home as a form of intimidation to someone on the internet. You can't make this up.
Don't take long. I need so I'm conveying this message to you, Sparkles. Leave me alone. I told you.
So in other words, Kevin, leave me alone because I can beat up my child. That means you need to be intimidated enough to know that I'm strong. I'm capable. Is that what you're saying right now? Because you were angry enough and didn't have any conscience or moral compass of what you were doing to your own child, that you're capable to place that type of behavior on another man and he allow it?
Leave me alone.
Now I'm going to end this video here, but I'm going to say this. To this day, he makes excuses for the mistreatment of his son. But you know what he can't excuse himself for? The fact that he exposed this online as some type of intimidation tactic to deter some guy that he's arguing with on the internet. His son didn't deserve that story to be retold. That's abusive in and of itself. It's embarrassing. Imagine that being your father. Is that cool? Somebody make him mad, he go tell him about the time he beat your ass? And this is what I keep saying. You guys keep calling every man narcissist, every man an abuser, every man a child abuser. But then when you see it right in front of your face, you pretend you don't see it right in front of your face. It says a lot about you. Peace.
And see, the thing about it is, you guys, now Chief Cali has placed all of these accusations online about Kevin that he is yet to prove. He's made statements about Kevin that he's even backtracked on. You get what I'm saying? And not only that, but Kevin's story has never changed. You get what I'm saying? But Cali comes online and purposely discusses his abusive mannerism to the very people in his personal life. You don't even have to do research on it. He's admitted to it. But somehow the community is supposed to be, getting away from Kevin, not trusting Kevin, when it's evident that you took pride in abusing your child and you would use that as an example or a tool to intimidate another man. And then you would abuse your ex-girlfriend and find every justification as to why it was okay for her to receive the short end of the stick or your wrath. Help me understand, why is it that we should feel that Kevin is a horrible person when it's the very words of Chief Cali that shows that he's a horrible person? Talk, y'all. Thank you for coming through, Queen. Nola Fags, hundreds, all hundreds. Like it's insane. Young Heru said it's crazy. Talk about dry snitching. People do that when they are heavy hearted. Yes, when they have a heavy heart. You literally told 2 instances of you being abusive. But where's the rage for that? It's women online. It's children. It's women who have children. You're showing that you're not a safety net for any of them. If I'm big, I better stay away from Cali. If I was raised by men, I need to stay away from Cali. If I was raised in the city, I need to stay away from Cali. Because if he has a moment where he can be justified in hitting me, he will. If I'm a child, I need to stay away from Cali. Because if I do anything wrong, he's going to use that as a justification for him to boop, boop, boop and prepare me for prison. But somehow we're supposed to be upset with Kevin about things that Cali has not even proved to be true. I mean, somebody help me understand. Somebody help me understand. Because I just, what does Truth Slayer say? He better pray his son don't rock him to sleep when he least expect it. That young man will never forget that. Blueberry, thank you for coming through, Queen. I mean, what we got to understand is, I don't think it was no consideration to his ex or his child. If they even wanted that information on the internet, most certainly not his child. I don't think his child would have been. I mean, even if the child says that he's okay with it, you gotta admit that's quite embarrassing. And as a parent, you should have that certain boundary. But when you're abusive, you can't see that as a problem because you couldn't even see that what you did to him was a problem. You couldn't even see what you did to your ex as a problem because of lack of boundaries, because of lack of emotional discipline. Your rage is justified in every situation. No accountability whatsoever. No growth, no nothing. You use your child's abusive your abusive assault towards your child as an example to intimidate another grown man. That is extreme. That is extreme. I mean, I'm not going to stay before you guys very long because it was very disheartening when I heard it the first time. And I never wanted to play the video because in between the conversation, Miss Felicia and the other person on the panel, they gave their testimony. And I felt like it wasn't fair to them. But I stated a couple of times, some of the abusive traits that he displayed within that conversation. So I'm happy that this clip did come through. Thank you, Queen Vernette, for coming through. So I'm happy that this clip, because I like to play videos in its entirety, and that would have been a very hard one for me to play because Miss Felicia has a very strong testimony. And I feel like her testimony is hers to give. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to overstep that. You know what I'm saying? So to have this clip right here, and just to hear his statements to the best of our ability, right? It doesn't give it takes away from how the conversation opened up a little bit. That's why I highlighted, Miss Felicia was asking him questions as far as examples. He gave his example and then he fell into his own story. And within his own story, he gave inconsistencies and he showed that the very examples that he stated is also the very examples that he uses. It's the very examples that he uses to justify his behaviors in a heated moment, in a toxic situation, in his behavior. You get what I'm saying? It's very abusive. It should have never been a moment where the police arrived and the mother of your children were unrecognizable. And not one moment did you say, I was wrong. You say the police arrested me, but she attacked me. But it's evident that you attacked her. It's disheartening. It's really sad. And it shows the type of person that that has been on this marathon of, spreading awareness to the community about Kevin Wesley is not very credible whatsoever, because the community might need to be more aware of Cheif Cali. And not only this, but I was having a discussion, and it brought something to the light. His name is Cheif Cali. That means that he's considering himself as a chief, a leader. If you're a leader, you should be able to control yourself a little bit more. You should be able to not be in situations and justify your behavior, or to use tactics to manipulate situations to seem as if you're a victim in them. It's not giving leadership whatsoever. His question is, what are you doing for the community? But the very community that he has given life to, he abused them. He manipulates them. And he justifies it for his own emotional reasons. I would be aware. I would be very aware. I just wanted to come and say my piece about it. Let everybody know love does not hurt. Accountability is not an excuse. You don't give excuses. Taking accountability, telling your story is not accountability. You get what I'm saying? Telling your story in a lighting of how you're the victim is not accountability. Trying to justify because somebody's size, or how they were brought up, or where they were brought up, none of this is a justification whatsoever. But peace and blessings to everyone. You guys, let's become more aware. Let's see signs of manipulation. Let's correct these things before they get too far within ourselves, but within others. You get what I'm saying? Hold people accountable for themselves so that they can grow and become better. Let's stop allowing these behaviors to continue and say, well, I was raised in the hood, I was raised in the struggle, and this how we do things. Well, see, this is the understanding that people need to know, especially us in the Black community, because I was raised in the struggle too. You get what I'm saying? The statement goes, do not become your environment. And you got to admit, the hood is not very, it's not the best. So if you already know that, then you know that your thought process is to become better, to improve it. The hood needs to be improved. It's not something that you just adjust to and become and use that as an excuse as to why it was okay for you to beat your child out of his sleep and prepare him for prison. It's not an excuse to beat your ex until she's unrecognizable because she's big and because she was raised by men and because she was raised in the city. It's not an excuse. The hood will not progress because you keep justifying why it's okay to be hood. That is abuse. That is trauma. It's damaging. It's destructive. And if we want to evolve, if we want to grow, if we want change for the better, then know that you need to become better, know better, do better. Thank you for coming through, Vibe with Shine Queen. Thank you so much, Kimberly Queen. Thank you for coming through, y'all. I went over the discussion of Cheif Cali and his abusive traits and his very own testimony that he gave about his ex, who's also the mother of his children, and his abuse towards his son. You guys hit the replay. I don't know how to end this discussion in a happy moment, because it's not something that I'm very happy of for no one, not even for Cheif Cali. I can't be happy about it. But please hit the replay. I know that we had some content creators give, their observation and their expressions. Hear mine out for a little bit and see how it goes for you. Lupog, hey Queen, thank you for coming through. Thank y'all so much for coming through. I'm very humbled by you guys. I just it was very hurtful, to even have this discussion about this, but we have to speak, we have to be, spread awareness. Some people may not even be aware of themselves in these instances, so it's very informational. Use this as an example to become more aware of self and grow. And also, if anybody hears this and they are cool with Cheif Cali or however it goes, just let them know that he needs to get some counseling. Him and his children, whatever trauma may be that he's definitely either in denial of or unaware of. He definitely needs to learn these things and become more aware of himself, because there is no excuse as to what he has done to two members of his own family, his own tribe, his own community, and says that he is a leader of a community. But peace and blessings to everyone. When you get time, you guys just hit the replay, get my perspective. I love every last one of you guys. Queen Felicia, thank you for coming through, mama. Yes, mama, I did hear the entire I heard your entire discussion. I was actually in the bushes when I heard the entire discussion. And I like I was telling everyone earlier, I was so hesitant. I did highlight some of the things, and I even stated before that I felt like he was being very manipulative. And I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to tell your story. And I told everyone that, you had a strong story. And I felt that it was your story to give. And it wouldn't be fair to play your story. And, but when I did play this video here, I did let everyone know, you asked them questions about, examples of what verbal abuse was. And that's what led him to make those statements, right? And then also you asked him questions within him giving his statement as far as the abuse that he gave to his ex. You get what I'm saying? And then he was using so many things to justify his behavior. And I felt like he was manipulative, not only to his ex, but he became very manipulative within the discussion. And I think that it was I don't think that a lot of people were very aware of those things. You get what I'm saying? But nothing to you, Queen. I just I know that your intentions were well. And I know that you were speaking from a place of heart and experience. You get what I'm saying? And I think that Cheif Cali took advantage of that. And that was not fair to you. And it wasn't fair to your platform. It wasn't fair to the entire situation, just play my video back, Queen. If you have any suggestions or if you want me to elaborate on something further, because I did see the video in its entirety, I have no problem doing that. You get what I'm saying? Because I told people before on my channel, you have a strong story, and I didn't want to overstep my boundaries. So, it's very hard sometimes to get the entire perspective without playing the entire video. But I just felt like it wasn't fair to you for me to play that entire video. But even within the discussions of just Chief Cali and giving his example by itself, um, you know, it definitely, it shows abusive. It wasn't just because, it let me say it like this. Now, he says that he's attracted to bigger women, which is fine. You get what I'm saying? But then to use that as an excuse as to why you were okay with, blacking out and abusing her. You get what I'm saying? And then there was a moment where he said, I was able to get her off by holding her neck. Now, when he stated that she was choking him, you get what I'm saying, with the bandana, he turns around and gets her off by holding her neck. So she's no longer on him. You were able to get away in that moment, but instead you said, and then I blacked out. So that means that in that moment, you were holding her by her neck, which I can assume you were choking her because you had to have pressure for her to loosen up from you. But then you continued in rage. And to back that, he stated, now, mind you, it was being recorded that my daughter was on the phone with the police and stating that she was attacking me. So you used everything in your favor without stating, I got her off of me. Let me separate myself from the situation. You went about, and then even the beginning, he said there was a moment where she started choking me. So that means that you guys were already in a moment of intensity, which lets me know that this story could be told because it's three sides to the story. It can be it's his story, her story, and then there's the truth. But the way that it's being stated, it's evident that he's making the statement in his favor, which shows a lack of accountability. You get what I'm saying? Which is manipulative. Because if we're being accountable, then we can be able to say we had a heated, toxic situation. Neither one of us was right. And let me speak of what I did wrong. But not once did he say I was wrong. I was wrong for blacking out. I took my behavior too far. You get what I'm saying? He even stated, well, I told the police that she was attacking me, but then I still went to jail. That's a lack of accountability because it takes two. And then to say, and think about it, when the police is there, they have both sides of the story. You get what I'm saying? So it's not just the physical look of her, but it's also the story that she may have gave in comparison to the story that you gave. You get what I'm saying? And then, and then not only that, Miss Felicia, but he lied because he said he had never went through this before. He's never done it before. But on his panel, he stated he did it a couple of times where people had to feel his wrath. And I felt like that was not fair to you for him to state these things. You get what I'm saying, Queen? It wasn't fair to you because ever since I heard your story, I even told Ashley D, I said, sis, did you hear her story? And she said, what happened? I said, you have to go check it out yourself. Her story is a story that you cannot just repeat. It's something that you have to hear from her. You get what I'm saying? And I would go on the panel and I tell people, I say, y'all, Miss Felicia has a deep story, y'all. She has a testimony, y'all. And no matter how much I wanted to share it, I said no, because her story should be heard from her. You know? Um, yes, there was no transparency and accountability on his behalf at all. It wasn't. It was not fair at all. You get what I'm saying? And then to say things to justify and to manipulate the situation. That's abuse. That is abusive. No problem, Queen. No problem. I know that we all have differences in perspectives, but I think everybody's perspective should be heard. And when I heard your perspective as far as, what went on with the relationship with Robert and Brianna. I didn't catch offense to it because I heard it based upon your story. And I don't think that it should be any offense to it. I understand. I didn't get to see the video where you and Kevin were having differences on your panel. I wish I could have gotten to see it. I know that it's hard sometimes, especially, with such a strong topic. You get what I'm saying? I don't think either one of you were coming from a place of and this is based upon what I can feel or sense because I didn't see the video, but I don't think either one of you would come from a place of malicious as far as this story goes. um I've witnessed your videos, and I've witnessed Kevin videos, and I think that you guys both have pure hearts. I think that it's the emotions and the experience and the our own perspective that can cause a little friction between the conversation. But honestly, yeah, no, I always see your story and how strong it is, and um I I never wanted to play the full thing, and um not it wouldn't have gave your story a full it just wouldn't have been fair to your full story. So I never played the video, but I did speak about it before, and I always felt like he manipulated that situation, and it wasn't fair to you, Queen. And you know sometimes things are hard to notice. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes it's hard for us to see up front, because we always want to see the good in people. We always want to see the good in instances. But it broke my heart when, because I saw the video as it was happening, because at that time we was in the bushes, right? And so I was scared to type in. And but when I saw him speaking, I saw him and exactly what he was doing in that moment. And I felt like that was very destructive to the purpose of what Miss Felicia was doing for her platform, because her intentions for her platform is to have a voice for victims, to help have her story so that people can relate and see her growth, and they all grow together and become better together, which is a very important platform. And when he got up there, and it's not that men can't have stories, because men do have stories, but his story, it was so many inconsistencies and so many instances of manipulation. It was abusive. And I felt like he placed every victim back into a victim moment. And when you see things from a distance, it's like, wow. So Miss Felicia, whenever you get a chance, I don't know if you've ever done it, but if you get a chance, play that video back and listen with a different point of view, and see if you can catch what I catch. You get what I'm saying? um Negro Rap, thank you for coming through, King. And even if our perspectives are different, Queen, know that I value your story, and know that I would never go against your story. I would never do that. I value everyone's story. And then and I don't I don't want to let me say it like this. um I can't even hold you. I cry when I hear a lot of these stories, because it's the stories that bring us all to the topic, right? And everyone has a story. You get what I'm saying? I've heard some of the content creators, their stories throughout the saga. I've heard some of the supporters when they had an opportunity to speak about their stories. It's so many stories on both sides of experiences that gave everyone their perspective on all of it. And it's not fair that it can be manipulated by people. They can be mistreated by people because of their stories. It's not fair to any one of us. But, you know, peace and blessings to every last one of you guys. If anybody has any questions or, you know, topics about this, or if they want to get more clarity or anything like that, or even if you want to tell me your perspective, you get what I'm saying? If you want to share your viewpoints, don't hesitate to, you know, just, you know, comment, let me know or anything like that. And then, you know, we can grow from perspectives. Let's grow from perspectives, because everybody experience is important, and it's very much so valued and valid. And you know, but and Miss Felicia, even if you don't tell me, you know, because it's not something that we have to you know, um to speak about or anything like that. I just want you to hear it for your own heart, Queen. And peace and blessings to everyone, okay? I love everyone. And I'll see you guys next time. If you came in the video late, everybody started from the beginning and give me suggestions. If I missed something or if I said something wrong, give me suggestions. I love them all. I love everyone.